Welcome to the Land Your Bet Sports Betting live stream show. What's good? Everybody coming in right now. Got the bottom line scrolling. What we already got going for today. You can see we got the Discord live as well. Just putting that up right now in case anybody is not yet in there. You can jump in. Link in the description of the video. I'm gonna be looking at this game one here for the Timberwolves and Mavericks. I want to show you guys stuff a little bit more in line with what to expect, what the possible ways that this could play out are, rather than just what exactly my bets are. I put in 4 total plays already. 3 of them, basically 3 bets, or 3 people that I'm betting on. I got 2 bets on Derrick Jones Jr. right now. Like I said, all that scrolling on the bottom line. Going to be taking a look at those here with you guys in a second. Let a few more people roll in. Do jump into the comments. If you're new, we're going to get this going. Man, I'm pumped for this game too, Bob. Really pumped for this game. I have a lot of stuff I'm looking at, so I'm like ready to learn some stuff from this game, to be honest with you. What's good, Ramon? Welcome, brother. Flo Farrow, always good to have you, fam. Gonna keep letting people roll in. Like I said, I'll pull up some of these bets in a little bit bigger here, but for those of y'all that are here early, I do want to show you a little bit of the matchups that we can expect. So I'm pulling this up to say this is not exactly 1-to-1, right? Like, even though you're going to see probably Rudy and Gafford, you're going to see, probably Cat and PJ. There's some stuff we got to look at here. So for Rudy and Gafford, all right, cool. Call that what it is. I don't think we're going to see Rudy playing on that free safety that he was playing in that last series. You can't leave PJ Washington wide open in the corner the way that he would leave Aaron Gordon wide open in the corner. Like, they wanted that shot. You don't want PJ to be getting hot from 3. If he starts hitting those threes, then you're in trouble, right? So keep that in mind. I'm going to keep rolling through this. Like, basically, so if you start with Rudy, all right, put him on Gobert. We're going to establish that. But we have to see what the deal is as well. So we got to keep an eye on that. Cat and PJ, got to keep an eye on that, because if they decide to go in a similar fashion to last series, again, I don't think they're gonna, because you don't need to worry about Jokic quite as much as, or Gafford as much as you need to worry about Jokic, obviously. But you need to see what these matchups are. For Jaden McDaniels, does he play on Luka? Probably. Ant said he wants Kyrie. That leaves Mike Conley and Derrick Jones Jr., right? So pulling up this other one that's a little bit more specific, that is what I'm predicting here. Cat on PJ Washington. On the other side, I'm expecting Luka on a big man. We keep Luka on the baseline if we're Dallas, and that's the way that he gets a lot of those rebounds. So I actually do have a couple bets that I want to look at for Luka, including boards, because of where he's playing on the floor. Luka's going to keep playing dudes with low usage or guys that they're not worried about. So there's a possibility at times that he's on Rudy if Rudy's not involved in the action. If Naz Reid comes in and is not involved in the action, anybody that wants to chill in the corner and just play on the baseline, probably going to be seeing Luka guarding that person, right? So you got to keep that in mind as you look at different props like rebounds for Luka. That's where I start to go towards. Then for Derrick Jones Jr., he's probably going to have Mike Conley, the weakest defender on the team, on him. So that's going to open up some stuff for DJJ. I got a bet on him I'll take a look at with you guys. And then Ant wants to take on Kyrie. The effects of that, maybe we see Ant a little bit more tired. I mean, if I'm a Minnesota player, I don't necessarily want Ant guarding Kyrie, but he probably is the best look. That also brings us to guys like NAW, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, right? These bench players, like, who's going to play more between Naz? Who's going to play more between he and Nickeil Alexander-Walker? Because you needed Naz a ton in that last series. It was a big-time series for him. Whereas in that Phoenix series, where they're guard-heavy, kind of like this Dallas team, right, where all the action starts and ends with it starts with the guards and the wings, and sometimes ends with Gafford lobs or lively lobs. But that's not something you need to hone in on if you're this Minnesota defense. So got to keep an eye on these matchups. That's why there's 3 bets right now for this game rather than just going in a little bit more. So keep all that in mind. As a result, the bets I feel comfortable playing and have put in already: Derrick Jones Jr. over 11.5 PR on that one. I also added the 3 as a little same game parlay to get it to -105. If you want to just take that, I feel it. The reason there is the last little bullet point, which is he's gone over in 7 of 8 in the playoffs when he hits 1+3. So what I mean by that is he's gone over his PR 8 of 12 times. 7 of those 8 were when he hit at least 1 3-pointer. So there's a clear correlation between Derrick Jones Jr. hitting a 3 and getting his points and rebounds combo prop and going over it, right? If you look at the minutes, I mean, he's the primary defender on Ant-Man. That's going to be that matchup. You can't take him out of the game for very long and expect anybody else to have nearly as much success defending Ant-Man. So you're going to be able to bank on 28 minutes at least for DJJ if he stays out of foul trouble. probably looking at like 32 minutes for him, right? I'm going to pull up RotoWire in a minute and see what their projection is for him. But that's where I start. I got 1.3 units on Derrick Jones Jr., my most confident bet of the day. Also rolling on the bottom line. So if you come in, hope you check that out. Cat, this is a 0.5 unit bet for me. This is the one I need to see a little bit more of. But my initial premonition is, my initial projection is, it's not a premonition. If I had premonitions, then I would just know what's going to happen. And then I could just tell you how to bet this. But for Cat, it's like my projection is he's guarding PJ Washington because you can't leave Rudy on somebody that can shoot threes. You can't do that. Then he's worthless down low. Even if you take PJ Washington threes out of the equation, well, he's going to drive by Rudy, right? So we're going to probably almost definitely see Ant starting on PJ Washington. Maybe things get switched up, but to start, this is what I project. So that's why we got a half unit on Cat to go under the boards, because this comes back to who he's guarding, which is, like I said, PJ. So if he's pulled away from the basket, right, this is not the same series as last one where he's guarding Jokic in between Jokic and the basket. It's a perfect place to rebound. You're talking about a dude who's going to be taking a ton of shots in Jokic. If he misses them, coming right off the front rim to Cat. So rebounds for Cat last series, great. Rebounds for Cat this series, not on the same level. So went under 8.5 to kick things off in the series for him. Half a unit on that, so it's a little bit less confident than these other two. And this other one right here is Rudy to go under his points. I mean, I just keep having flashbacks of Rudy flipping the ball over his head with his left hand for it to go in off the backboard. That was 2 of his points in last game where he got 13. Other basket would be that heave that he took fading away as the freaking clock is running out, and that goes in, which was just like the clear-cut sign that Minnesota was going to win Game 7, to be honest. Once Rudy starts hitting that baloney, then you're like, okay, I guess it's the Timberwolves' day. I'm not going to bank on that. Plus, you're talking about a Dallas defense now that is way better down low than this Denver Nuggets team was, and especially the Phoenix Suns, right? So with the way that Dallas is limiting everything Rudy wants to do, this is the only way he scores. Tip-ins, roll man stuff where he just catches lobs. Daniel Gafford will play enough of a drop defense against Minnesota that he'll be able to guard against that lob for Rudy. So I'm going under the points for him to see how this goes. But right now I'm working with 1, 1.5, and then 1.3 right here. So about 2.8 units right now on these bets. I do got some other homies that I want to look at. I got Luka rebounds in here already. I got Kyrie that we're going to look at, McDaniels, and NAW. Interestingly, too, I just wanted to mention from yesterday's bets that I ended up going 2-2. The Tatum leading rebounder bet canceled out. And what that did, but because I had one full unit on the correct bets yesterday, and you can see what that is on the bottom line as well. I actually need to add that, my bad. If you look at the bottom line, I've got yesterday's bets on it too, so you can kind of see how we did. But the one unit that we put on the correct bets really helped us out in making sure that we got the right numbers. So I'm putting that up too from what was yesterday? Tuesday's results, rather. And we got those in the bottom line for you guys as well, so you can see how we did. But this is unit control. Like I'm starting to understand what I feel a little bit more and less comfortable about, and that's really helping us make sure we make money. The record is all great. Always want to have as good of a record as possible to give yourself a shot, but also want to make sure you're portioning those units correctly. So yeah, do I have NAW in here already? I was just talking about that. Yeah, I do have them in there because that's one huge factor that I want to consider as we look at this first game is basically, and I'll go back to the matchups real quick. Basically, I want to know what are we going to see from the substitutions for Minnesota? Looking at this one. So is Nas going to play? Is NAW going to play? And I got to believe we're going to get a bit more NAW. You need to have your best defenders on Luka and Kyrie. You don't need as much defense down low as long as you got guys that can run to the rim and keep Gafford and Lively from getting easy dunks off of tip-ins and off of the rolls, right, that they get. So let me jump in here and see what you guys are looking at too. I should take a look. I know some people were asking about the total, so let me put that in here real quick and see if we can find something on the total of this game. 207 is the total, right? Put 207.5 in there. Adding that. A couple others. Luka PRA coming in. What's up, Mozzie? Good to have you, fam. I'll look at Luka everything, so I'll keep that in there. And then PJ PRA I like from C Sims. Let me put up PJ, because I didn't look at his stuff yet. I mean, I looked at it, and it's the 19.5 PRA I do think is a pretty good look. I mean, what I like about PJ is that he's still doing other things when he's not shooting or making threes. Like we saw him in that last Game 7 where he got in foul trouble, had like 0 points going into the fourth, right? And then once he gets into the fourth, he got his 10 points, and he was also got 10 boards and 4 dimes. So he got over the PRA in Game 7 with just 10 points. That's what I would consider. So I know Joshua Taylor was coming in with some Kyrie stuff. Over in 16 of 22 and over in 11 to 15 away games over the last 15. Over in 11 head to head. Yeah, I guess Kyrie. I mean, I know Kyrie likes playing this team. I thought about taking him for the threes as well. I think there's a pretty good bet in there for Kyrie threes. He doesn't really want to drive to the lane. Let me make sure I have Kyrie in here. Make sure I look at him too. But I agree with what Joshua Taylor's saying. Like the numbers here are not just like, okay, he's gone over because he just happened to go over. Like he's going over on this stuff because he's making shots, and he's a bad matchup for this team. I mean, honestly, Ant guarding like the best ball handler of all time. I mean, where do you want to put Kyrie? I never saw Bob Cousy dribble a basketball live, so I can't say that he's better or worse than Bob Cousy, who gets a bad rap, dude. But either way, he's a funny example to use as somebody that's like, who do you think is a better ball handler all time than Kyrie Irving? I don't think anybody, to be honest. It's probably Uncle Drew for best handles. So in that case, like, I don't love, if I'm a Timberwolves fan, the idea that Ant is like, yo, let me take this on. Maybe that helps you, maybe it doesn't, but I'll look at Kyrie real quick. Let's get into it. We're gonna pretty much look at everybody, right, and get into it. But let me pull up my screen and start sharing that with you guys. I want to start this time with RotoWire because I want to look at the projections for minutes with you and see what we got there before we just start jumping into all these props themselves. So I'm pulling up this to share my screen. I'm on RotoWire right now. So we can take a look at lineups. This link is in the description of the videos as well. You just got to go to NBA lineups. And now you can see what we got here for this upcoming game, right? So if you go to projected minutes, I'm here on Dallas looking at, why was I looking at Dallas? Who did I want to start with? Well, I'm going to start. I'm just looking at this in general. So we got 42-41 for Kyrie and Luka. Like, that's what they've been playing. If I pull up props.cash real quick, I'm going to look at Luka's minutes in the playoffs. I mean, we know they're both going to be hitting 40, right? And I just want to see if there was a jump here in these playoffs right quick. So I'm pulling up playoffs for the whole. Luka's still having himself a playoffs, man. He just didn't play as well against OKC. That defense was nice for them. Still at 42 minutes for Luka. That's a legit projection, obviously. And then Kyrie to God. Where you at, Kyrie? 30.5 PRA. Wow, it was 29.5. So some people have been hitting it, but it started low, obviously. 40 minutes. Yeah, you're getting 40 to 42 from both of them moving forward. And then PJ all the way up at 37. He's got to stay out of foul trouble, obviously. If you look at the game log for PJ and his minutes, where you at, PJ? Pulling up his minutes on props.cash, which, by the way, quick reminder, if y'all don't have props.cash yet and you still need it, you can use code LYB to sign up for your first month and get a little bit off there. I need to make this smaller, but I think you can still see it. So for the minutes, he played 29.5 in game 6 of this last series because of the fact that he got into foul trouble. It's just that simple. But 35.5, and I would project him to about 40 if he is able to stay out of foul trouble. He's going to be guarding Cat, so that could be a problem when you start talking about overs for PJ, because I don't I like Cat to probably be able to score on him, even though I don't think Cat will be there for the defensive rebounds quite as much. He's a better big man than PJ Washington, even though PJ's got him in some other areas, particularly quickness. But honestly, that's about it. Like, they got an advantage there. If Cat goes off, and I was talking about this in the Discord as well, if Cat goes off, then that's a huge X factor for this series. Keep that in mind. For the projected minutes for the Wolves, you got Cat at 38 and Nas at 22. It's about what he's been at. I don't know if I trust this as much. This 19 for NAW and 22 for Nas Reed. I don't know about that. I think that we might be seeing a bit more Nickeil Alexander-Walker if anybody starts getting cooked. And honestly, Mike Conley might be the one to lose some minutes if that's the case, if they need that much defense on the floor and if other dudes are cooking on offense. Now, Mike will be out there if he is, in fact, if he's needed to run the offense and we see some issues, because this Dallas defense has gotten nice. Used to be poo-poo, and now it's nice, like a complete 180. But let me add a couple of things. I don't have anything for Conley up here yet. Darian Love talking about assists for Michael. Let's put Mike Conley in here with the assists. We can look at that for our guy. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything else. Yeah, right. PJ Washington, who's also from Dallas, bro. Like, this is the American dream. You get to get traded from the Charlotte Hornets to the team that's playing in the Western Conference Finals. Yeah, it's a good look right here from 7. That's what I'm talking about. Dom is looking at, okay, hold on. Now, we got to listen. When Dom D starts talking about role players, we got to listen, because Dom D is the role player whisperer. He knows exactly when Aaron Wiggins is going over and under. I swear to God, I'm not even being funny. Like, I'm dead ass. Like, Dom is on those role players. So when he says Jaden Hardy under PRA, we got to put it in here and listen to our guy real quick. Let me put Jaden Hardy in here. I like what I see from Hardy. I'm not going to lie to you, but, we gotta see what the minutes are at. The projected minutes for Hardy in this game, just 11. And Tim Hardaway Jr. seems to have surpassed him. I mean, he was always ahead of him, but if he's available for legit minutes, and Tim Hardaway Jr., I don't know if he's a look necessarily, but he might be the forgotten man. Josh Green at 18 minutes. That's interesting. And then Gafford is actually predicted to get 4 minutes less than Derek Lively. So keep that in mind, that these two dudes are almost impossible to project sometimes because they basically just don't play on the floor at the same time between Gafford and Lively. I would say Derek Lively, if he's able to bring it, he's going to be a problem for Rudy with his quickness and ability to go from the 3-point line all the way to the rim very, very quickly for Derek Lively. That's one of his better traits that really gives defenses a problem. So let me kick it off, though, and actually get into stuff here now that we talked a little bit about these matchups. That's what I'm looking at for this series, though. You know what I mean? Is who is all that. Who's guarding Conley? I really want to under his points. Interesting. So for Conley, let's go back to this real quick and just pull up these this matchup stuff. For Conley, if all goes the way according to plan, you're going to have Luka chilling on the baseline. And I'll show you one way to look at that real quick. Basically, well, I'd have to go all the way back into the game. There's only like one legit game that we can use from the regular season to really look at like how, well, actually, let me do it this way, to look at like how we might actually be able to project stuff for this game moving forward. So let me go into the Dallas Mavericks box scores real quick and go to their game against the only game that I would say can actually help us look at how they did against the Timberwolves in the regular season, which might be transferable to how we look at how this game is going to go. But don't just look at regular season stats and go, well, look, he went over 4 games in the regular season against this dude. Like today's price is not yesterday's price. The playoffs are not the regular season. Minutes, all that goes up. So this was a blowout where Dallas lost by 34. And that was actually this was like the only game, though, where everybody was out there for both teams. I'm just going to go into the box score for a minute to look at matchups to see if this can help us project who's going to guard whom. But actually not even, right? Because look at who is on the team. So we still have Rashawn Holmes getting minutes for this squad. We don't have anything with Gafford, to be honest with you, but we still might be able to see who Luka is going to guard. And it wouldn't surprise me if Luka is the one guarding Mike Conley. So I don't know if that helps you or hurts what you're talking about there, We the Fifth, because you were talking about who's guarding Conley. You want to go under on his points. But what if it is Luka? Although Luka should be on the big a little more. Let me look at matchups real quick. This game from this was January 7th, right? So I'm looking at offensive player Mike Conley. So I'm gonna see who was guarding Mike Conley in this game. Everybody played for the Timberwolves, and you saw Josh Green on him with some Tim Hardaway Jr. Probably Kyrie, right? Probably some Kyrie on Mike Conley, and I don't know if I like that for Mike Conley, right? Like I think I prefer Kyrie. You could see Kyrie didn't even give up a shot against him in 2 minutes. He gave up 2 dimes, though. So, yeah, the Mike Conley assist might be a good look if he's unable to do as much. Plus, like, I got to see how this Ant Edwards defense from Jay Kidd comes out. If Jay Kidd employs the same defense that we just saw from OKC, that we saw him employ against OKC is what I'm saying, then maybe we're in a good place to bet on Mike Conley overs. I know Prop Bomb, the homie who was on yesterday, doesn't like the stuff for Mike Conley. He thinks it's a little bit worse of a matchup for Mike Conley. So keep that in mind because, yeah, to be honest, like if Conley's guarded by Kyrie, I don't really like it. But if 2 guys are going to Ant and doubling him, then Ant makes 1 pass to Mike Conley. Now Conley has an imbalanced defense in front of him with the ball in his hands. He could get PRA all over, like all over the place. So keep that in mind. Also for Mike, I mean, he's been boarding up. I don't know how much you want to rely on it. But for Conley, like those boards have been there over 3.5 consistently. And now it's at 3.5 when it was at 2.5. It might be a good look too, to be honest, but it's a different series. So I don't know if he's going to be in the same positions to get free rebounds like he was in this last one, where they're basically leaving him open after Ant made that pass. So keep that in mind. Let me go to Luka real quick, because that is the first one I have up. And I don't want to get accused of not looking at stuff. It's like somebody was in the chat the other day. Fuck that guy. All right. The assists are low for Luka to start. And the rebounds were at 8.5. There's still some 8.5s hanging around for Luka on the rebounds as well, if you wanted to do that. So if we look at the PRA, it's at 46.5. The points are at 28.5. I don't know how much you want to do with this, but if you look at, we're on playoffs, right? Yeah, we're in the playoffs. I guess, yeah, the points he went over in game 1, under in game 1 of this series against OKC. The rebounds, yeah, I mean, honestly, the RA is still so low for like, it's been an 8.5. Like I'm gonna go to this real quick. If you've been on here before, you've seen me use betting pros to be able to look at there's not betting pros to be able to look at past lines to see if this has gone down or up compared to what it was the other day. So I'm pulling up Luka to see where his rebounds and assist prop set recently. Going over here to RA. It's at 17.5 now, and looks like you can still get really good money for over 17.5. But this is lower than it's been. 19, 18, 18, 19, 19. Like, this is where it lives. Is 8. I've never seen it lower than 18.5. So my first thought when I saw over or 17.5 for Luka RA was like, isn't that a bet? Like, isn't it what? Like, this is what he does. If you look at him in the playoffs, he's averaging basically 19, 18.8. Head to head, what has he done against this team with the RA? One this season over, one this season under, right? And 1-7, was that the blowout game that I was just looking at? No, this is the 1-7 game where he did go under in that one. What was the final? 115 to 107. Dallas won that game. Luka played 40 minutes. I'm sure JMD was on him, right? I'm going to go to matchups real quick one more time. I'm going to look at Luka offense and see who is guarding him in this one. Keep in mind, obviously, a lot better players on the team now, but Jaden McDaniels is going to guard him. NAW didn't see too much more time in that game. Might be a little bit different at this point in the season. He only played 12 minutes, though, so we got to keep that in mind. He played 13. He was a -6. They lost this game anyway. Did he get mostly garbage time? Was there garbage time? I don't think there was. No, it wasn't garbage time. They still had all the starters on. But there was Jordan McLaughlin getting minutes in that game. So I still think we're going to see more NAW, but the Luka stuff, let's see real quick. The potential rebound chances in this one for Luka, we're at just 8 rebound chances in this game. Interesting. And now we got, but we're looking at, this is a different roster, man. It's just so different. If you look at Luka's, let's look at his rebound chances as of late. First of all, the potential assists, this is head to head, my bad. Let me go back to playoffs for Luka. In the playoffs. So like I said, over an 8 of 12. No worry about the minutes. Potential assists at 15.7. And he's averaging 9.1 on that. And this is still at the assists are at 8.5, right? Yeah, that's a great look right there. And the rebounds, I also just even think at like, so let's see, what's the best number? I still get 7.5 for -115 on the RA. I think that's got to be a bet. We're obviously banking on Minnesota missing a few shots, but this defense for Dallas, I would say, is better at this point than that defense for Denver, which was actually poo-poo in this last series for sure. The rebound chances for him in the playoffs at about 15 to get about the 10 boards that he's at. What's he at in the rebounds on the playoffs? He's at 9.7. So right at that number. This is pretty close, I guess. That makes sense. But the 8.5 still gives you good value. I'm going to put a little bit on the RA for Luka and see how he comes out, because I think the assists and the rebounds could both be at like 9.5, 10, and you get a little bit better there. So what's good, Daft? Oh, my bad, dog. Thanks for letting me know. Y'all weren't even looking at anything I was just doing. Let me pull that down. People helping people. Appreciate you. So yeah, for Luka, this is what I was looking at. So you got 17.5. You got -115 on DK. BetMGM is saying -105. We got to see if that's pulling through correctly. Let me pull up Prop Madness, because that is one of the faster places, honestly. At this point, Prop Madness, if nothing else, is like the best spot to get the most updated lines to shop stuff. It pulls through like every 60 seconds, which is wonderful. So pulling Mr. Doncic back up, going at the RA here and seeing what the best number that we get is. So 17.5. You can get +105 on 365. Wow. They really like him to go under in this one. I suppose because the rebounds would be what scares you. Maybe you just feel better about the potential assists in this one a little bit more, because you can still get -110 for him to get 9 dimes in this one. Obviously, this hit rate is high because this number is a little bit low. I think that's a good look, though. Even on 16 potential assists for him to get 9, that's fine by me, honestly. Like, if you look at his hit rate, he's got 15.7 potentials in the playoffs to pull down 9.1. So yeah, this is right at that. And -110 is a good enough edge. So I'm gonna put that in there for Luka right now. I'm going to be doing a lot of half unit bets here as we kind of see how this stuff. I'm going to be sitting in front of this game with my freaking notepad, dude. I'm for real, because I need to see how these matchups play out. These two coaches have so much at their disposal, especially Minnesota. And Jay Kidd is kind of become a genius on defense. I cannot believe 3 years after ridiculing this man for being the head coach he was, I'm like, he's kind of a coaching advantage now, is Jay Kidd. So we're going Luka over 17.5 RA. I'm getting that for plus 105 on 365, which I have access to. So if you have a Bet 365 account, which they're pretty much everywhere at this point, I would hit that on there as the best price. Putting that for 0.5 U from Luka. All right, that's on the bottom line. Scrolling. As far as the points for Luka, I don't have any problem with it. But like I said, I'm going to go with the RA for right now rather than worry about that and keep it moving. I got you. You guys are wild in the chat. Let's see here for Luka. Okay, we got that scroll on the bottom line. I'll keep it moving here with taking Luka down. Yeah, I don't hate the points, but I kind of want to take Kyrie points, right? Let's look at Kyrie to God first and get there. Yeah, I mean, DeJuice, like, so if you get 45.5, that's a pretty good number for PRA for Luka. I don't want to have to bank on him getting the points necessarily right now, but I mean, y'all are really big on the PRA, aren't you? Got Mozzie coming in, asking about PRA. Juice wants to know about it. It's really just, I mean, I like the rebounds and assists. Do I like the points? If you get 45.5, you're getting a good number for the PRA, because if you do the math simply, so Caesars is hanging a 45. BetMGM looks like they're hanging a 45.5 for his PRA. If you get the 45, that means you are getting a pretty good number, because if you look at the points at 28.5 plus 9.5, that's 38. Right? 38 plus 8.5 would be 46.5. So the way that most of these books are capping his points, rebounds, and assists individually adds up to about 46.5. If you get a 45.5 on the PRA, you get a little bit of a boost there, right? With the extra one. So I like that. What I like a little bit better for Luka between the RA is the assist. So if you're taking just one, and I'll make that clear in the leans here, I'll put that down. So if you guys are looking at the bottom line and just wait a second for it to scroll through, you're going to see I'm saying Luka points, big ass question mark. Luka Rebs, 9.5, I'm staying away. And if you look at the Luka assists, I prefer the over there. So the assists are a big reason why I like the RA in general. I think the rebounds are the one place where, like, all right, I mean, I think they're going to be good, but that's where I'm at with Luka. So I know there's going to be a lot of questions about Luka, and that's kind of where I'm at. What's good, RJ? Good to have you in here, bro. Which line do you think he crushes, bro? You think he crushes the rebounds, Mozzie, or you think he crushes the points? Let me know what you're thinking in there. And just because, help out the chat a little bit. What about Carl Anthony Edwards? Like, do you mean / Carl, or are we calling Carl Anthony Edwards right now? Like, that's two different people. So let me know what you mean right there, Justin Evo. All right. Oh, do I not have Ant in here? Come on, man. I got Jaden Hardy that I want to look at, but I don't want to look at Anthony Edwards. What's wrong with me? All right, I'm gonna hit save on that. Let's look at Kyrie to God real quick, and then we can get into some Ant-Man. All right, Kyrie. Where you at, Kyrie? Man, talk about a 360 for a player in terms of, like, just public perception, bro. He goes from saying that the earth is flat, or that we can't prove it's not, to being a pretty likable dude who's like a leader in the clubhouse. Good for you, Kyrie. Thank you for, like, just playing basketball like a normal human. We really enjoy it, and your fan base appreciates it. All right, so there's two schools of thought for Kyrie. One is he's going to be guarded by Ant-Man. Kyrie the GOAT. Yeah, where are you at with Kyrie, Daft? Let us know. Drive carefully, too, by the way. Please don't crash your car. And for all those of you that were worried about our guy driving on the right side, I believe that's where they drive. Although I'm not sure. Is it just they drive on the right side of the road in Australia? But yeah, be safe out there, bro. Let me put up Lively too. G-Bag coming in with Lively. That makes sense. I'm gonna put that to Texas thing. Crazy. Derek Lively. We should look at Lively and Gafford together, right? Because that's what I was talking about at the jump, was like Derek Lively and Gafford are both going to just split minutes. There's going to be 48 to go around for both of them. All right, for Kyrie to God, the points are going to be scary, right? He's mad inconsistent with the aggression when it comes to the points. Like, look at the field goal attempts as a way to gauge that. Field goal attempts for Kyrie, great against the Clippers. 18, 17, 25. Okay, 14, whatever. Starts out the series against OKC, 19 shots. What do you have to start that series? 30 points, 19 shots. Kyrie's here. It's our boy. Let me even look at this in the second half, because this is a big thing you got to look at. 28 points in the second half for Kyrie in game 1 against the Thunder. All right, we're rolling. We're good to go. And then what happens next? And then we go to 14 shots. All right, bounce back game. He even said after this game he needs to come out and shoot more. 8 shots. The fuck, Kyrie? 17, great. 11 shot. Like, what are we doing, Kyrie? And then 23 to close it out. Still, really inefficient game for him in that one. 4 for 10 from deep, shot 39% from the field, but he took 23 shots. And guess what? They won. Thank you, Kyrie. Like, there's definitely something to wins and losses. In fact, let me look at that if there's splits here. Like, I know I'm looking at this, but in the wins, he's averaging 19 points per game. In the losses, actually, he's averaging 25. So there's no correlation there. No one can tell Kyrie he needs to shoot more so they win, because that doesn't seem to be directly correlated. But I would still tell him that shit, right? Let's kick it with the points. I don't know. I hate it. I hate that I don't know, but I don't know how I'm supposed to know. If anybody in here has some love for Kyrie, they can show me by all means. But like, I think we're still in this weird place where homie will not shoot in the first half. So I'm on StatMuse right now. If you don't have it, I'm sure y'all have seen StatMuse, but really helpful to be able to just get quick splits. Like, I want to know Kyrie home versus away, Kyrie first half versus second half, Kyrie when he plays with Luka, Kyrie when he doesn't play with Luka. This is going to be a really fast and easy way to just type in what you want and get those splits coming your way. So Kyrie Irving at home and on the road. No, wait, that's not what I care about. Kyrie Irving in the first half, these playoffs. Is that going to give me what I want? Sometimes it's just about asking the right question. So Kyrie has averaged 6 points, 3.5 assists, and 2.2 rebounds in the first half of the games in these playoffs. That's not good. That is a bad number. I believe someone in the Discord took under 11.5 points first half for Kyrie. I dig it. Makes sense. I don't know that he's had more than that in the first half of a game in the playoffs. Let's see here. He had over 11.5 one time in the first half. That makes sense to me. In fact, who gave us that if you're in here from the Discord and you were the one who put that in the Discord, but you're in the chat, let me know. Cause that is, I can probably, okay. It was, Aguita de Coco 29. I like that. Let me know if it's Aguita. I'm actually going to España here in a little bit, so I need to know a little bit better Spanish. What's good, Joe? Good to have you in here, fam. Are you drunk? Well, actually, I don't know. Are you drunk? Let me know. For taking cats over 3.5 dimes. Joe, you always come in with the like little secrets, bro. Like, I don't know where you find these, but I mean, it might be a good look. I'll take a look at the assist for cat. Let me know what you're thinking, why you got that in there, Joe, because I'm interested to see what your thought is there. Finishing up the Kyrie, yo, Aguita de Coco. That's a pretty good look for under 11.5 points. I think you have to take that on Prize Picks or like DFS sites if you're taking that. All right, Bull Rise thinks that he's going to come out swinging though because he needs to step up. That is true, but sometimes he just seems to wait. So what's his numbers in the second half of these playoffs? And this is where you live bet Kyrie. So he has 9 more points per game in the second half of these playoff games, a little bit less on the dimes and a little bit less on the boards, but he takes over the scoring in the second half. So this is a pretty good live bet for him if you're looking at that, right? Like if you're looking at Kyrie in the second half, once you get a live bet for him, that might be a play. Let me put that in here real quick. So if Kyrie, I'm gonna have a live bet section scrolling on the bottom as well, so you can take a look at that. Because if Kyrie comes out hella slow, I mean, what do we think, right? Like we might like that. So I'm gonna put that under live bet potentials here. Let me actually get that right. So we got leans, and I also got live bet potential. If Kyrie no score first half, over 2H. All right, that's in there on the bottom line as well, because I do want us to keep in mind that if you're not in the Discord, by the way, that is where we talk about these live bets. I got to get a little bit better at it with you guys, but we're going to figure it out. What's good, Yehoshua? Good to have you in here as always, fam. I know, I'm just fucking with you, Joe. Yeah. All right, let me look at that in a minute. I'll put cat. I already have cat on the under on the boards. That's a 50-50 play to me more than I like it, to be honest, but I got that for half a unit. Let me put cat assist in here for our guy for How About a Cup of Joe. Great follow on Twitter. How about a cup of Joe, by the way? Today I'm sober. Later tonight, who knows, right? We'll see. Yeah, McDaniels over. Do I not have McDaniels? I have McDaniels in here. I'm going to look at him G-bag for sure. But yeah, for Kyrie, first of all, if you have Prize Picks under 11.5 points in the first half, I don't hate that at all. One time that he's gone over in the first half points. Keep in mind, it's a new series, so we want to keep that in mind. But that's a pretty good look on the Kyrie. Like, look at these 11.5 first half points. If you get that anywhere, I think that's a good under. And then, like I said, just go ahead and take the over. And once you get to halftime and you get a little time to bet that live, you might be looking at a pretty good play there. For Kyrie, though, for the boards and the assists, now this first half, let's go to full. So for the boards, did not board up against OKC, boarded up against LAC. Minus 144 to the over. That's odd. That's really odd. The rebound chances for him, he had 9 last game, only pulled down 2. He hasn't been getting very many when he goes up, like basically a 60% rate. And these dropped dramatically against OKC. I'm trying to think of why that would be. He was guarding J-Dub in that game, who plays predominantly outside, but J-Dub was also a way bigger. Yeah, I don't like rebounds for Kyrie in a matchup against Ant Edwards. That's for sure. Yeah, Ant Edwards, too big. And Ant made clear he wants to guard Kyrie. That was in the news. Like basically Ant came out and was like, yo, give me Kyrie. I didn't hear anything saying that he's not going to get Kyrie. I believe he guarded Kyrie last time. Let me go back to this game right here and look at matchups real quick and put Kyrie on offense. And yeah, he was guarded mostly by Ant and a little bit of Jaden McDaniels, and he kind of cooked them, didn't he? 5 for 7, a total of 8 for 14 against those two homies, 3 for 4 from deep. I do like the threes for Kyrie. I think that might need to be a bit of a play, but I don't think we're getting 2.5 is minus 118 head to head though. He only played him twice. Once this season, he had 6 of them. He's not going to go down low as much. He took and that's a thing you can kind of bank on a little bit, is that he's not going to go down. Like, honestly, this is not a great 100%, but if I go back to StatMuse, you can look up individuals versus other individuals. Now, that's not going to give you their matchup one-on-one, but this will give me Kyrie Irving, I'm going to say versus Rudy Gobert. Last 5 games. And now this is just going to give me Kyrie versus Rudy Gobert teams, right? So Gobert's not guarding Kyrie because he doesn't want to have his ankles broken and his ego shattered. So he would never guard the best ball handler in the history of the NBA. No offense, Bob Cousy. I'm going to keep using that joke, by the way. No offense, Bob Cousy. But if you look at this in the last few games, 8.2 threes per game that he's attempted when he plays a team with Rudy on it. And now this is 3 with Brooklyn versus Utah and 2 Dallas versus Minnesota. But I think that's a fair assumption. Like, he took 8.5 right here, and basically in the previous 3 on a different 3 on a different team, he basically took the same amount with actually probably more 3-point shooters on that Brooklyn squad than anywhere else, right? Brooklyn. So I think 8.5 is still a fair projection for the amount of threes that homie's going to take in this game. If you think he's going to take 8, don't you like him for 3, right? Like, let me do it this way real quick. How many times during the regular season did Kyrie attempt 8 threes or more? And let's do like 8 to, this is 3-point attempts, 8 to 12. That was the most he took against this team. When he does that, he hits this threes at a clip of 26 out of 29. You see what I'm saying? And like, if you think he's going to take the threes because he can't go down low quite as much, I think the threes is a good look for Kyrie at this point. Another interesting bet, if you wanted it, because I saw some people talking about Cat in there too. So I just want to show you something on DraftKings, because some of y'all probably know I love the head-to-head stuff that you can get for player props, right? So I'm going over to the head-to-head stuff. So I'm on DraftKings right now. I go to head-to-head player props, and you can do anything from points to rebounds to assists to threes. That's all, right? So if I look at threes, not only can I take them head-to-head and go, all right, do I think Kyrie's going to get more than Mike Conley, Kyrie more than Ant, Kyrie more than Cat? I kind of think Cat and Ant might be good for over 4.5 combined. This middle is the total between the two of them. So you don't always have to just take them versus each other. You could take them to how many you think they're going to combine for. I kind of like the over for Kyrie and for Cat. You can get over 4.5, gets you to minus 105. That basically says they're going to both get their overs, but at the same time, Cat could get 1, Kyrie gets 4, and we're over it, right? So that's a consideration as well if you like that. But yeah, I think Kyrie on the over 2.5 threes is a good look, to be honest. Just coming in blind with what we know here. I'm going to add that for Kyrie right now, and that's my favorite bet for him. That I'm going to put in there for half a unit as well. Let me keep this up. But I think that's a good way to play Kyrie. I prefer that over any other of the stats that we have. So I'm taking over 2.5. I'm keeping it light, 3 p.m. I'm going to keep that at what we get that. What's the best number there? My bad. And I'm going to go back to my props madness because Pip does a great job of making sure we can pull this stuff through. For the threes, 2.5, the best number I'm finding are the books that I can play. FanDuel's got minus 115. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. So we're adding Kyrie to God, minus 115 FD. Got that for 0.5 U. All right. And keep in mind, like I do like Cat threes as well. I think Cat points should be good, to be honest. So let's keep him moving though. I'm gonna move past Cat. We're gonna get into Ant now. And then we get to JMD, Jaden McDaniels. I know G-Bag brought him up, and I do like the thought of betting on some Jaden McDaniels stuff tonight. It's the same concept as like Derrick Jones Jr. and what we've been betting on for McDaniels. First of all, let me just show you while I'm on Props Madness. For JMD, and I promise I'm going to go to Ant first, but for JMD, he's shooting from the corners, right? So if we go down here, you can look at shot chart versus defense shot chart. So look at where Dallas is the weakest in the corners. 23rd in limiting corner threes over here, 24th limiting corner threes over here. So you can bet they're in the bottom 5 in corner threes overall that they're allowing, right? Jaden McDaniels taking 25% of his shots from the corner. If we make this the playoffs too, now you can switch this from just all to the playoffs. If we look at the playoffs for JMD, taking 27% of his shots, even better. And then 15th out of 16th and 10th out of 16th for the defense for this Dallas squad against the corner three. So JMD on the threes might be the play for him. It's 1.5 gets you plus money. Little bit tough. He's only hit 2 in 3 of these games in the playoffs, 3 of 11, right? Denver, not quite as bad in the corner. Phoenix either. They're both much better, but didn't really get there. If we look at the PR for him, I know I'm just doing Jaden McDaniels first. So mea culpa. 14.5. Let me go over here so I can look at his rebound chances. I'm going to pull up JMD on props.cash. Where you at, McDaniels? 1.5 threes. Let's look at the playoffs. I'm on the 3 still, but let me go to PR. So he's been under hella in the playoffs too, right? He's averaging 17, but he went off in these last 2 games. And in these last 2 games, he made 3 and 3 of his threes, and he only took 9 total. So 6 for 9 from deep in these last 2 games. But then you look at the unders in the previous ones. I mean, he's not even really taking enough threes. There might have been a directive to shoot more from the team. I don't have any information on that anybody was like, yo, you got to step up and shoot more, Jaden McDaniels. So it's tough for me to look at him. Oh, hell yeah. All right, cool. Let's get Daft in here. Stand by. Where you at, Daft? All right. Oh, my guy's working from home. Mazel tov, brother. We're going to get the COVID King on the stream. And I need to get a hold up. Let me get this for our guy. I got you. Stand by. I swear it. Hold up. Wait a minute. See, I got live stream. I'm going to get you on here right now, sir. Hang on. I got you. Pardon the interruption. Here we go. Copy that. Get this out of here. Got to get our guy on. Got to give him the proper love as well, obviously. All right, exporting this. All right, keep moving. Here we go. Don't do your intro yet. Not yet. Give the people what they want when they can see you. Stand by.
What's up, kings and queens? It's your boy Dan from Dark Previews. Let's fucking dance, baby.
Bro, I'm scared to put up a poll that's like, yo, whose intro do you like more between Daft and my welcome? But like, I think you might win that one, fam. I think you might.
Your one lingers around. Like, not gonna lie, I've gone to bed sometimes and I've heard that in the background. I'm like, fuck, is he in my house? Like,
what's good, bro? So working from home. Now your real work starts, obviously.
Let's go.
As we get into these bets. I was just on Jaden McDaniels. Can I ask you to start with anything you looked at there? By the way, if you're not subscribed to Homie's page, Daft Previews, and he puts up that stuff every day to help everybody out for free. So keep it rolling. But yeah, did you have anything for that, bro?
Well, a lot of what I found in this game was really, I need to see it first because we're trying to predict what's going to happen. And this is the playoffs. Also, the regular season data, you can almost throw it out the window. Luka didn't play 2 of those games. Kyrie didn't play 3 of those games. Like, I've almost ignored it in some sense.
Yeah.
So Jaden McDaniels, we know he's going to get game time. I think his perception as a defender has only been elevated throughout this playoffs. I think this is the biggest test that he's had, but he's going to get game time for sure.
Yeah.
And my question is, Denver were living with leaving Jaden McDaniels wide open, right? They were happy to play that, roll the dice on that. And I question, will Dallas do the same? He torched Denver in the last two. Do Dallas and Jay Kidd employ the same strategy? Yeah. So that's probably my hesitation, because he's going to get a run for sure. But is he going to get the shots?
Yeah. Yeah, the points are scary, and I thought I was clever taking the rebounds a couple times, and like really after the Phoenix series, he just slowed down on the boards. Obviously in the last two as well. I don't think the rebound chances were really there for him either. Like 10, still only at 6 and 6. It might just be one of those things where it's like it's hard to get the rebound and guard the other team's best player like that, no matter what. So
one thing we could do, right, is we know that Jaden McDaniels is going to be hounding Luka all over the joint.
Yeah.
So I'm on props.cash as well right now, and I'm looking at the rebounds versus Dallas. So maybe you can have a look at that.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see, how did Lou Dort perform against his rebound line? Because he's going to be playing the same role. So if you scroll down,
Lou did really well for a while.
Yeah.
If you pull that up, we look at Lou Dort.
You can see it on props.cash.
Oh, I can?
Yeah.
Oh, because I go to historical. Right.
Just under the injuries place.
You're right.
Just below.
And he's considered a small forward, so I'll just look at that. So for Big Lou, he was going pretty over 6, 8, 2, 6. And he was the primary on Luka, like you said.
Yeah.
So there might be something to that. Lou is also a beast. And then there's also the idea that Lou Dort is on a team with Chet Holmgren, who's like, baby poo soft, right? Like tissue soft. Yeah. So like, no offense, Chet. But like, and I wouldn't say that to his face if anybody wants to bring that up. But like, basically compared to other NBA centers. So there's a little bit more team rebounding going on for OKC. That's the only other thing I would bring up as a counterpoint. I don't know that it's 1-to-1 because you got Rudy and Cat in there, but it's a stay away from me on Jaden McD to start.
I agree.
I'll be monitoring that, but wow.
I think the chances are probably higher if we think about how this game's going to go. Luka's going to drive. He'll get to the mid post. He might pump fake a few times. Jaden he's not going to bite on that. Luka's kicking it out. So he's going to be in position to get rebounds. But like you said, Minnesota littered with strong rebounders.
Yeah.
And you even have the ball just bounces in Mike Conley's lap. Like
right.
At least 3 to 4 times a game. It's going just bounces in his lap.
Amazing. Amazing how that works out. Do not fade that man. I'm looking right now. I should get back to playoffs. I'm looking at like blocks and steals for Jaden McDaniels, and I'm also considering like, is Luka going to turn the ball over kind of stuff. I might look at that. I mean, the blocks, the juice is gone. It's minus 184. I mean, maybe you get a minus 165. No, I don't hate it if you want to add it to something. Even the blocks and steals, though, it's like there's minus 199. Why are you putting this bet out there? Who is putting money on that?
That was hovering around like minus 130, 140 in the last series.
Yeah.
So I did take his stocks a few times. I actually had a McParlay I ran with McBride and McDaniels, and it was around their steals and blocks. So
good Irish boys.
So this is juice to the gills now, and it's a wait and see for me.
Yeah, that makes sense. On the same token, what about Luka turnovers?
I did not look at that.
Wow. That's 4.5.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's high. How much does he turn the ball over against this squad? 4.5 is monstrous. Minus 160 for the under. I mean, he's going to pass the ball a million times. He's going to have the ball in his hands the whole game. But, I don't know about that. Jokic kind of figured out how to not get turnovers against his team. I think Doncic can probably do the same. Do you want me to can I interrupt us to see if there's anything you do like that we can hand out real quick?
Shit. Where did I land? A bit of Kyrie, but I'm as biased as hell, right? Like, he's my favorite player. I don't support teams. I support players. Kyrie, regardless of what he thinks of the world or what religion it is, he can bang all the drums, burn all the sage that he wants. I'll still support him. But I've made a small play on him to get 25 and 30. And it's got nothing to do with the Ant comments. It's got nothing to do with the fact that he was slowed down in OKC because of how they play. My thought process around it is Minnesota probably play a more traditional defense. They have a traditional lineup, 2 bigs. And I think they're going to back themselves to play straight up. Whereas OKC, you could see the panic. It's like, Kyrie's got the ball, get it out of his hands. Luka's got the ball, get it out of his hands. Right. They did that for all 6 games.
Yeah.
Whereas I think Minnesota are going to back themselves. They let Jamal Murray play one-on-one. They let Jokic play one-on-one. They back themselves to shut down all the role players. So I think this series is probably going to be a bit more designed where we see Kyrie and Luka show. I think both of their lines are a little bit soft, I would say.
Points?
But yeah.
Yeah.
But Kyrie's was at 20.5 when I had a look at it.
It went up a little bit. Yeah, because it was 29.5 PRA. Now it's up to 30.5 on the PRA.
But the 1 point, it doesn't really, I think he's going hard. I think, I think this series is designed for the two of them to show off. Because I think those role players probably get shut down in this one.
Interesting. Yeah. I don't know if you were listening yet, but I took the threes for him.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, and I took that because I think, honestly, I'm considering a ladder play to 4 for his threes. It's one of the reasons that I was talking about being super comfortable with like he and Carl on DraftKings. You can get these combo props right here. So you can take either Kyrie to have, one more 3, or you can take both of them to combine for more than 4.5 threes. I could see Kyrie hitting 4 threes in this game. So I really like that bet. And I do think it's worth a little sprinkle on the ladder for Kyrie threes. I was just looking at like him not going into the lane quite as much when he plays against this Gobert teams in general. You know what I mean? Even though he's a wizard when he gets into the paint, like, I see him doing his work a little bit from it's one thing to be a wizard against anybody besides like basically the best shot blocker in the league. That's kind of where I come to. But
I think one way Kyrie gets his points in this series, I think Dallas have to play with pace. So in that OKC series, Dallas didn't want to be the fast. Like they didn't want to turn up the pace because OKC will run you out of the building, right? You want to play slow with OKC because they can't shoot and they rely on SGA in the half court. Whereas against Minnesota, you don't want that defensive team to be set every time you attack.
Right.
You want to take Rudy and Cat out of the game if possible. So the transition stuff, I believe, is going to be a strategy. Well, that's what I would be doing if I was Jay Kidd.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I was talking about the total a minute ago too, wondering if there was anything for the 207.5 that we see there. I know you don't really usually play sides and totals, but would you lean a little bit more to the over or not even really a lean?
I would lean at the over based on just the caliber of players in this game offensively. Like there's good defenders in this game, but there's not like elite defensive players out here that are going to change. Like, I feel disrespectful to Rudy, but like I think 207, and I think there's going to be pace. There has to be.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a grind. There will be some games that are, but I think in the first game you're kind of just game planning for each other, but you don't know whether it's going to work. Things will tighten up as they make adjustments.
Yeah.
When that chess match begins, but I think like similar to that Boston Pacers game, I couldn't read that to save my life. So, and Indiana was like, we just got to run. Like
you're talking to a guy who took Miles Turner under 25.5 PRA. So if you want to talk about not being able to fucking read that, you're talking to the right fucking person.
Well, that game, if you took anybody overs, you'd cash.
Yeah,
that was the most casual game ever. I saw so many slips.
That's so true. That's so true. The books probably lost yesterday, except for the Peyton Pritchard under that I also hit, which I loved because he had like 10 in the first half, and then he didn't get a single pointer assist in the second, which really helped me out. Okay, so you like Kyrie points. You also like Luka points. Maybe a little 25 plus for both of them could be sexy.
Yeah, I had some bonus cash. I actually put Kyrie, Luka, and Ant all 30 plus.
Ooh.
Because if the game is played with pace and it's up and down, that's an Ant game.
Yeah.
But if you eliminate Cat, if you eliminate Rudy, like Dallas have more scorers.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I dude. I mean, a lot of people are just like wolves to the fucking moon, and I'm like, nah. This is the most I've believed in a Luka team in forever. So just keep that in mind. This is something interesting. We'll talk about Cat. We do need to talk about Ant real quick, but I do want to bring this up since someone mentioned it, which is them Metro kids. Karl Anthony Towns under 29 points because he's 0 for 11 his last 11 games at home. It might be worse than that, right? Like, I don't think he has scored 20 points at home since like February. I'm pulling up points for Cat, and I'm just going to
he had that injury, which would probably extend the date on that. But
he came back in February, didn't he? I'm trying to think. Actually, hold on, let me see.
And then he had the minutes reduction, and
Yeah, that's
but
fair.
definitely throughout this whole
Yeah, the
playoffs.
end of February was the last time he hit this at home. So this is what dude's talking about too, because this is probably about 11 games right there, which is wild. It's not something I want to just guarantee as like the reason is like, oh, he's at home. But I mean, after you get to that amount of games, there's got to start to be some kind of correlation.
Yeah. Not gonna lie, I put some pressure on myself to get my cat plays right today, just because you were calling me the cat whisperer. Then I bought into it, but then I was like, all 7 games throughout that Denver series, I was right on cat every single time. So,
bro, you got to go with what you know. Dom D, I was saying it earlier. Dom's always on the role players. Dom has just like got these role players down somehow. And so, yeah, I'm going to listen to him. Once you have a market that you corner, you know what I mean? Now people are going to come back to you for it. Let's take a quick look at Ant, because I'm not going to say he's an enigma, but the thing that I liked about Ant the most was the ability to go, okay, well, he didn't shoot enough last game and he knows he needs to shoot. So he's going to shoot more this game. But they did take the ball out of his hands. And even when he was effective in the second half of last game, like it was mostly because he was either forcing the issue and then passing out of it, or he was stealing the ball and just getting easy breakaways. Right. So I don't know that I want to have to like bank on the points necessarily, but I was considering the assists and the rebounds and like maybe an RA play. Did you have a look for Ant in this one?
I think my main look for Ant is on the points, and it's my thought process there is the fact that Dallas have game planned, but they haven't put it into practice yet. So throughout the series, he's going to have some slow games. But I think game 1 of a series against Ant that's where I feel he's most likely to go over, because you haven't got a scheme for him yet. You haven't tested and failed anything.
Yeah.
So you're starting fresh, and Ant's going to get the looks that he wants. And then I think he goes over game 1, under game 2.
Interesting.
Because what Dallas will learn if they do push the pace is Ant's going to eat them alive.
Right.
But it might be something they're willing to live with. That last game where Kyrie and Luka played against them, I think they all went 30 plus. I think Ant had 36 in that game.
In the regular season?
Yeah, the last match. And I look at that matchup only because that was the only game where Kyrie and Luka played against Minnesota. But other thing you need to factor in is all of those games were before the trade deadline. So the Gafford, PJ Washington stuff happened after. But I think that only supports the play for Dallas, if anything. So Dallas won that game with Grant Williams and Josh Green as their starters.
So they sure did.
Yeah,
they sure did. Say louder for the people in the back. They won that game with Grant Williams and Dwight Powell. So I'm actually adding Daft's bets to the bottom line as well, because I know you took that little Ant 30, Luka 30, Kyrie 30, right?
Yeah. It's going to be a doco soon. 30 for 30, baby.
That's right. The 30 for 30 for 30. And then the new series. And then you took what was the other one that you liked that I know about? Kyrie to God. Kyrie over 20.5 is what you got, right?
Yeah.
Would you still have that one on Luke? Still have that at 21 and a half, right? For anybody that would ask.
Yeah. That number doesn't. I think he's one of those no sweat guys. Like, he's not getting close or he's blowing it out. He's because you see it in the comments. They're not reliable. It's like, no, he's not. But that means the upside, the potential is there.
Right.
It's right. Whereas if you have someone who always finishes on 19 or 21, like Pascal Siakam, for example, you could say, yeah, he's consistent. But those players, you're best just reducing his line and playing parlays for 15 because they're consistent. But that's why the lines are sharp on those players.
Right. You can predict it.
Yeah.
That's the same concept as TJ McConnell, where I was just talking about that yesterday. I was like, he takes 10 shots, he makes 5 of them.
Yeah.
But it's now 10 and a half. So I'm like, okay, I'm
out. Yeah. That's exactly right. Those players are consistent.
Yeah.
So
100%. Real quick on the Ant stuff before we move away from him. I think you have something else, but like for Ant, Free Sauce brought up the threes. I did make a living on going over for the threes in this last series rather than the points, and I did it twice. But he did take 10 in this last game 7 and just missed a ton of them. Right, I'm trying to find 3-point attempts real quick. He took 10 in this last game. He made 2 of them, I believe. Right, 2 for 10. But then, like in this last series, basically he took, what was this? This is like essentially 8 per game. Maybe 7.5 per game that he is attempting. Where am I going? My bad. 3. Yeah. So 7.5 in the playoffs. And that was about what it was in this series for against Denver. Do you have a take on the threes? Cause I do like the amount of threes that he takes as a good way to bet on him.
Yes. My take on this is, if you think about that Denver series, he started to take a lot more threes later in that series because that's all they gave him. They completely took away the drive. So he was forced to take those threes. My question is, are Dallas going to take that away? I think they'll put Derrick Jones Jr. on him and live with the result. I don't know if they're going to completely shut down the lane.
Yeah. They might have to. The thing is, once he gets ahead
I
of
think
steam
they
going
will
forward,
eventually.
yeah.
Yes, they will. But to start this series,
yeah,
I think Ant probably scores the way he wants to. Yes, a couple of threes, some middies. He'll get to his left hand in the lane. He'll get to the free throw line. He'll score in transition. I think we see the total package for Ant Edwards. So at 2.5, 2.5, I don't mind. At these odds, no.
yeah, minus 130. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Yeah.
Do you look at steals and blocks ever?
Sometimes I get reminded by my viewers, like, can you look at steals? And then read the comments. Then after I'm done recording, I go ahead and look at the steals, and then I share some plays from that. But I don't necessarily look at them in game one.
Yeah,
because you don't know how teams are defending. You don't know what the matchups are.
Yeah,
So,
that's what we're looking for. And I do like Ant. I do think they'll allow Ant to guard Kyrie to God. But I mean, the other thing I was thinking is like Kyrie's not really going to try to cook in the first half if everything goes the same way. So just got to keep that in mind. But like if he does, either way, like I wouldn't be surprised if we see Ant taken off of him here and there throughout the game so that he has the stamina to do it on offense. Because if Ant isn't the focal point of the offense, even if they're doubling him, I don't think this offense moves, right? Like it's not like, okay, well, let's get that Conley 2-man game going. Like that ain't it, right? So it's got to be because Ant is either scoring or because they've gone to him and just completely tried to take him out of the game. I don't mind the steals, by the way, with how involved he's going to be. But the problem is like I like the steals for him when he gets into the lane a little bit more. And if he's guarding the guy with the ball very consistently, hard to get in the lane and get those steals, right? So just kind of keep that in mind. He loved guarding Murray last series, but it ended up being Gordon that had the ball in his hands a bit more as a point guard almost than Jamal Murray with the way that they did. But we didn't know that to start the series. So this is another reason that you got to wait.
Why you have to wait. And with steals and blocks, I feel like you're almost betting on another sport because you have to look at it's not about what they've done. It's got you can throw that away. What they've done recently doesn't matter.
Totally.
You have to look at a different set of data in terms of it. Like even if you just looked at Dallas turnovers, you can get turnovers from offensive fouls. You can get turnovers from throwing the ball out of bounds.
Right.
You can get turnovers from 3 seconds in the key. Like that doesn't directly correlate to steals.
Yeah. 100%.
And then blocks is a different kettle of fish too.
Yeah.
Like as great as the data looks, like I'll let you know, I took Miles Turner under 2 blocks yesterday.
How that
Celtics were they conceded 2 blocks per game in this playoffs.
Right. Well,
and
it's
they
hard to get blocked from 3.
Yeah, right. But fucking Cornette was on there for 5 minutes.
Yep.
But the OT killed that play. But what I'm saying is,
so he did. So he got the blocks.
He got
OT.
the 2. He got the second one in OT.
Oh,
and Hallie went over that 19.5 in OT as well.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
So Hallie was at really? That's crazy. I didn't, dude. I'll be totally honest. I was playing in a rec league basketball game when OT happened. Like literally, I was like about to get on the court and I'm watching, and then Brown hits that 3, and then I go in the game and I couldn't watch it anymore. So, anyway, let's keep moving.
What I'm saying is, steals and blocks. It's a different ball game.
Yeah,
you need to look at other things. I think there is value in them for sure, but
yeah,
you've got to look.
Yeah, I'm with you. This is going to be really interesting to me. Let's get into NAW versus Nas. I think it's NAW versus NAZ right now. Because they definitely were sort of inversely correlated, right, in this series recently. So like in all series, like if NAW is out there, it's because they're trying to shut down the perimeter. If Nas is out there, they need a little bit more help down low, right? Yeah. So the projections have Nas as getting way more, at least according to RotoWire, which is one of the ones I use. I would always recommend Establish the Run a bit more than this one, but that is a little bit of a hefty price to pay for, whereas RotoWire is free to get this stuff. But what's interesting to me is that they've got Nickeil Alexander-Walker at 19 and Nas at 22. And this could still play out in this around this number, and it wouldn't surprise me. But like my initial thinking is, isn't Alexander Walker going to get more time with the fact that you need to stop the perimeter against Dallas more than anything, right?
Yeah.
So any thoughts on that? And if there's any bets for them?
Yeah, I think the Nickeil Alexander, let's go with no. I think that's a good look for him to get. He'll get more time because it makes the most sense against Denver. They probably they play inside out, so you need to have the bigs. Cat's going to get himself into foul trouble. That's like
Of that
you
we
have
know.
so he'll get a runtime as well. But
Yeah.
Nikhil Alexander Walker, his length, it's I don't think Monte Morris plays a minute in this series.
Right.
Like it
Right.
makes it's a risk having Conley out there
Mhm.
because Kyrie pound for pound is a fucking animal, and you put Conley on him, he was the same size, 75 years older. Like
Yeah.
you're in trouble.
You're
Like,
cash.
how you have to hide this guy, right? You're better off getting some Norm minutes out there who can, you know. So I think
I'm sorry I got distracted because I fully agree with what you're saying. But Joey Bacon is taking the under on my rec league points.
What do you think your because my guys ask me this all the time. Like, what do you think your prop
comp?
line would be set? Yeah, no, not your comp.
Prop line. Okay,
yeah.
Well, first of all, my NBA comp is probably I can't think of it, and it's really tough.
Jose, you said?
Did I say Jose Calderon one time?
Alvarado, you told me once.
Oh, that's right. Grand Theft Alvarado. That is my comp. You're right. I might be able to shoot a little better than him, but that is a good comp. You're going to lose that bet, Joey Bacon. I'm going to tell you right now, especially if you take my PRA.
What's your line, though? That's what I want to know about.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, in my 20-minute half rec league games, I'm at about like 11 points, 5 boards, probably like 2 or 5 assists and probably like 2 boards. But I'm at like 2.2 steals per game. Like I'm somebody you want to bet on to go over on the steals for sure.
Right.
That's a guarantee. Yeah. And see, Street Cred keeps telling me I can't jump, but that's racist and I can't jump. It's slightly accurate. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. One time I dunked a tennis ball though.
All right.
Yeah. So you can't take that away from me.
What you got to do is you just got to get just a couple clips and just insert into a video. I did that once on one of my videos because I remember I was recording on a night where I had a game, and then halfway through the recording, I was like, I got to pump the brakes on this one. I've got to go take some ankles. I'll be back in 2 hours. It'll be 5 seconds for you. And then I got comments saying, "Oh, we want to see some clips," and then I put clips into the next video. I got like 9 extra subscribers because of that.
Fuck
so
yeah, you did.
If you got a game.
I'll show the video one time of my half court 3 to beat the buzzer to go into overtime in high school in the state tournament. So we can look at that later, though. That was a bomb. Let me keep it moving, though. I think if you're going to I got to see this first. This is another one of like Nas and NAW. I'm going to be watching for. I'm sending it to you. Everyone's calling me a liar. I'm sending it to you. The thing here is going to be a stay and wait, wait and see kind of thing, right? Like stay away, wait and see for NAW and Nas. I think we're on the same page there that like you have to get a little bit more NAW in there. But lastly, once death, taxes, cat 3 fouls at the half, you can bank on all 3 of those things happening in your lifetime, right?
Do you want some parlay science real quick?
Yeah.
So what you could do in a lot of these games, especially the first games of the series, is like you're going to see a lot of teams aren't like Tibbs, right? They might play a certain role player more given the matchup. And in this one, we're saying Nor's probably going to get more than he had been because of this matchup and how important he's going to be on that on the perimeter.
Mm-hmm.
A good look could be to take his over in points, over in rebounds, over in assists. Because sometimes
NAW.
Yeah. As a parlay, you probably get like plus 500, plus 600.
Right.
And another person like for Dallas, someone that could be someone like Tim Hardaway.
Yeah. I try. What's your thoughts on Hardaway versus like Jaden Hardy was brought up as maybe going under? Yeah, bro.
I'm in there. I'll be the starting 4.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you're the 4 at that point, aren't you? Yo, what's whose page? If you're talking about Daft, it's at Daft Previews. He's in there. I'll put it in here real quick. But it's previews with an S at the end, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Or Doft, but that's more British.
That's how we say it here. Yeah.
Wait, so the other dude was NAW, and who was the other one?
I think Tim Hardaway could be
Hardaway.
Because we saw late in that OKC series, Dante Exum, he got pulled from the rotation.
Mm-hmm.
There were
he's done though.
There was 2 games where Tim Hardaway got an injection. The game where he got the injection, I ran the same play: over points, over rebounds, over assists. Like it was easy money. It was like plus 575.
Sorry, you're saying an injection? Like you knew he got something in his?
No. Like he got injected into the rotation. My bad.
Oh, okay. I thought he got like a medical injection.
He could have been injected with something, but
yeah.
And I feel like you said earlier with the Kyrie play, right? Dallas is probably going to rely on perimeter scoring.
Yeah.
And Josh Green, not a reliable 3-point shooter. PJ Washington, probably their best, but also he's not very reliable. He's as streaky as it gets.
Yeah.
Derek Jones Jr. very much the same. He's not reliable. What's reliable is he's going to be on the court though.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas someone like Tim Hardaway, if he's hot, it's easy money. Like if he,
Yeah.
like it's similar with your mate Dante. Like if he makes his first couple of shots, he's getting game time.
Yeah.
So
you're talking about White Dante on the Knicks.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
yeah. I 100%. There's guys like that where it's like, yo, if you're gonna take them, like Jaden Hardy is another dude, honestly.
Yeah.
Where it's like if you're gonna take him for 3 points, take him for 10 points. Like
yeah.
I feel that. So okay. Hold on. I'm settling myself down here for a minute. So I think that is the play with NAW is that you can go at him for Tim Hardaway. Do you feel comfortable with that?
I didn't look into it as hard to be
5.5.
Yeah.
What's he been up to real quick? So those minutes are what I was looking at real quick. So he's at 14 in the playoffs. It weirds me out that he got 12 and 6 in these close games that they had at the end that they needed to win real bad. I don't love that.
Yeah.
Do you know off top if any of these were blowouts to help me look at it? And I can look at Props Madness for that too.
There weren't many blowouts in that Dallas series.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just came in. He got his normal stint. I think like he gets onto the court at the same time every game. But it comes down to like, does he perform? And if he does, like let's ride him. Let's leave him on there.
Yeah. So if you're gonna play Tim Hardaway Jr., it's almost just like
go hard. It's
yeah.
not like just take the straight bet. But like 5.5 is a good number.
It's a good number to go over for plus money.
Yeah, at 6.5, like, oh, I don't think so. Because now you need at least maybe 3 to 4 buckets, right? He's not going to get to the free throw line.
Right.
But if you need 2.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'm not suggesting to play it, but I'm saying like this is a way that I look at the role players.
Yeah. I don't have anything to suggest and lead me towards, okay, THJ is going to get that. But yeah, he's going to basically, it's going to be a hit or miss, like you said. And
I'm playing it. I'm playing it. The 5.5 points, over 1.5 rebounds, and you get 1 assist. Plus 600 I got.
I'm sticking that.
But then I like with those types of players, I only have to bet a little bit,
Yep.
Just a little bit. If he makes his first shot, I'll be cashing in.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point too. I wish we can't get it to it fast enough because like it's gonna all be in like one session of basketball. There's not gonna be a timeout, and then like basically what I'm saying is like we're not gonna have time to like see him hit his first shot and then go bet the over for what it is at that point live, right? Because we're gonna have to wait for a timeout, and by the time the timeout comes, maybe that momentum's totally gone for him. But I'm gonna find real quick just to finish the point since we're talking about these role players in general. I think I'm gonna play some NAW stuff, and I'm gonna put that'll be in the Discord because I need to like mess with the numbers here for a parlay. But NAW points times rebounds.
Bet 365 usually has the best odds for those types of parlays.
Thank you.
By far.
Okay.
By far. Yeah.
Yeah. For the builders, as they're called, the multis. All right, yeah, I'm on that with NAW. I think the total over is what we both lean towards. Jaden Hardy, since we're on that real quick, is he's in the same vein as THJ and pretty much everybody else we're talking about here, like Josh Green. Like, is there anybody that stands out to you there between those dudes? I didn't have a read on like, oh, Josh Green's gonna get a few more minutes. Like, if anything, to be honest with you, and I just want to bring up yesterday's game real quick, because if you look at yesterday's game, we're talking about the team that plays the most bench minutes for the Pacers, right? Yeah. And the biggest rotation of guys. But it's like, this ain't fuck around time anymore, right?
Yeah, they cut back.
Yeah, right. So it's even here, like, okay, if you're going to take Obi Toppin or TJ McConnell, they are not the same. They're different. But like Isaiah Jackson ain't getting minutes. This was, like for one short stint, they were like, what are we doing? We're done with this, right? Even over here, like Peyton Pritchard didn't see the second half really, which was great because I took his under. But like this is going to be the case now moving forward. Like these dudes there's not an 8-man rotation of like multiple dudes getting, 30 minutes. Like it's just the starters getting 40, right? Yeah. So there's the call for Jaden Hardy in the chat was under for his props here.
Well, I think he got a run in that series because of the ball pressure, right? And they needed an extra ball handler out there to bring that ball up the court. And to alleviate some Kyrie stuff. The Timberwolves, they deploy a lot of ball pressure as well.
Yeah,
so
that's interesting. Yeah,
the ball handling wait and see. Really. Yeah. They don't have an Aaron Gordon who can be like, oh, I don't know, PJ Washington maybe, because Cat's not going to pick him up full court.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so
No.
they could
No,
find a way around it, but
yeah, he doesn't have the handles. And this just comes back to one more thing that I just want to bring up, which is like the matchups are something we have to see. I'm gonna I know this is gonna be weird for 1 second, but I'm just gonna cut you out to look at this, and we can look at it together. But basically, like this is maybe if I put whatever. There you go. So basically, for this, if you look at the matchups here, like you can't just draw a straight line between Rudy and like. Because if one thing in the math changes, like if Cat guards somebody that's not PJ, well, then who's guarding PJ? Because you want Jaden on Luka, Ant on Kyrie. What do you do with the other three? Now you've got DJ, PJ, nice, and Gafford, and you've got Rudy, Cat, and Conley. What do you think is going to happen? Like, you've got to put Cat on PJ. You've got to put Rudy on Gafford. You can't run the free safety stuff and then have PJ Washington shooting open corner threes because Rudy's playing off of him to help out on, like, what? No, he doesn't even need to help out on Gafford, right? So, I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see, but it's going to impact so much shit that it's like, I don't know, man. I still got to see, before I can get into that stuff. So, I'm not gonna take any more of these role player stuff. I think THJ is an interesting one because, like you said, if he gets on there and he gets hot, then he's good to go. But I'm off of that. Anything else there? Let me see if we can finish up here in a sec, and you can get back to work. For
I am working.
Let's do it this way. You are. That's amazing. PJPRA. Anything on Mr. Washington?
Oh, damn, he's tough. I think the only thing I was like, oh, I might play this was his 3-pointers made. Like it was 1.5 at like minus 115, 120. And I was like, just on volume alone, fuck the matchups. Doesn't matter what happens. On volume alone, he can make 2. All right. That's the only thought I had on it.
Interesting. Okay.
So the rebounds, I saw a lot of people liking his rebounds, but I think the thought process there is Dallas someone has to rebound. Like Luka is their best rebounder from a guard spot, right?
Yeah.
And you've got Rudy and Cat, and then Nas off the bench. So they need to get rebounds from somewhere. I just don't know where it comes from.
Yeah.
My actual look for rebounds was Derek Jones Jr.
Yeah.
And I think you looked at his points plus rebounds, and I had a very similar read on that. So yeah, I think the rebounds could be a good look. And it wasn't because in the regular season he averaged like 9 rebounds against them. It's not necessarily that, although that gives me some confidence.
Yeah, it's helpful.
But it's the Ant matchup.
Yeah.
KCP, I got on his rebounds quite a lot in that last series.
Yeah.
And because if Ant doesn't have the ball, he's not moving off. Like he's almost James Harden. Like if he's not in the play, he's so far above the break.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. 100%. Yeah, I like all that. I'm not scared. Like, so here's the other thing I took though, was I did, and it's all on the bottom line. And I added DAS plays too, by the way. So if you were asking what he's playing, it's all on the bottom line. And don't ask him what his favorite is because his bets are like his children. He doesn't have a favorite, or it's the one that wins. That's his favorite.
You just make him and see which one you like by the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, that one was my favorite because it made me fucking money. Real quick, I just want to clear this up, and it's all good, Lazy Bunny. I'm glad it was brought up. Which, by the way, I love your fucking profile picture, brother. It's awesome. But the bet is void if a player doesn't touch the floor. So if you bet under for somebody and they get 0 seconds and 0 minutes, but if they play, I think it's 10 seconds that they have to play for the bet not to be void, and it varies between books. But like, I'm pretty sure 100% of the books that I can think of they void a bet if a player doesn't touch the floor. So you won't lose your over, but you won't win your under, right? So it's just a completely void bet. Just to keep that in mind for everybody. For DJJ, what does not scare me, and one of the things I will say is I took his over on the PR at the core bet because I correctly predicted that I was going to get closing line value, meaning that when I took this bet, for those of you who don't know, I took it at 11.5 or minus 125. The best you can do now is 11.5 or minus 135, which means I have better odds. Plus, it's gone up on a couple books to 12.5, which is even better. That I got a nice line there. But the other thing was I added a 3 to it because if you look at his in the playoffs here, if you look at him and his PR, right, he's gone over an 8 of 12. But I'm going to filter this so that it says to look at how important it is for him to hit a 3. And if you go and you make this this is made, if you make it at least 1 3-pointer made, now he's gone over in 7 of those 8, right? So 8 of the times he's gone over, 7 of them he had at least 1 made 3. Is basically where we're at. So like Yeah, you're going to need him to make that 3. So I parlayed it with the PR just to be like, well, I'll put a little bit on this. Maybe he hits it, maybe he doesn't. And he can still hit the PR without the 3. So I have more on that. But I sprinkled on that to get it to even money. So that's my thought process is like, yeah, he's a little bit of a crapshoot because he needs to hit 3s or at least 1 3. But at the same time, like I can't see his minutes dropping too far. I mean, I think his floor is 28 points at this point. Or minutes rather. So that's where I was at with that. And he should trip and fall into 4 freaking rebounds at that point. But
I think I was close to taking his first quarter points prop. It's at 2.5. I was probably a bit biased in that because I did hit on that quite often in that last series.
Yeah.
Because one thing with Derrick Jones Jr., he's the first player you're going to leave wide open.
Yeah.
But when his legs are fresh in the first quarter, I think he shoots a pretty good percentage. Like that might just like be the eye test, but when his legs are fresh, he can make these 3s in the first quarter.
Yeah.
So
you took points, not 3s in the first quarter, right?
No, I was close to. I didn't take it eventually. I settled on the rebounds.
Okay.
Because I got the rebounds it's plus money for 3.5 rebounds. Like
in the game in general, yeah, right.
Yeah. So
for sure.
That's what I landed on.
Did you look at any first quarter stuff? Because I know a lot of people like to play. We're all about the instant gratification.
Yeah, Luka first quarter points.
Okay,
I think that line's disrespectful.
Is it 7.5 still? Because I'm seeing 8.5s coming up here, but maybe it's different. This is points, right? Yeah. So if I go down to first quarter points on DraftKings, Luka is at 7.5 for plus money.
That's what I'm saying.
Sheesh. Let me go to Luka again. Hold up. Where are we at here?
I got it for 6.5, and then I'm also going to play it at 7.5 at plus money.
Okay. You got it at 6.5 initially.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, I'll take 7.5 for plus money.
Yeah. It's the 8.5 is what scares me. 8.5 and 10.5. They're the ones that kind of like, I think I'll back off here. But look at the numbers. Like,
oh wow.
Yeah.
What are the shots?
This is a road game. This is a road game too. Check out. Put the road filter on Luka in the playoffs.
Ah, I see.
Come get some.
Come get some. Come get some. 10 on average in the first quarter in the season on the road. Too, but I mean, look at these monster first quarters.
Yeah,
this is dumb.
Yeah. So people are like, why doesn't Kyrie score in the first? This is why.
Right. Holy crap. That's insanity.
It's just one of those plays. I know what's his name, Modai. He'll do the same thing with MPJ, and I did the same thing with MPJ throughout the season.
Oh yeah.
Luka in the first quarter, just throw your money at it. If that was the only bet you took all season, you'd be laughing. Like
plus 114. My apologies for not looking at this earlier. I know that some people brought up this bet earlier, and it took me an hour and 22 minutes to look at it. But that's fire. Yeah, I'm adding that. I'm fucking totally just riding your coattails at this point. What a I'm what? That's
it was the first bet I took. When Dallas are playing, it's the first thing I look at. If it's at 8.5, I'm like, I don't know. But especially on the road, you get a little bit more aroused with Luka. But if it's under 8, let's go.
That's on there for me.
Look at his volume. Just scroll down a little bit and look at his field goal attempts in the first quarter.
Okay, yeah, I'm giving you the credit for this bet though on the bottom line.
Wait till it wins first, then give it to me.
Okay, yeah, actually, it was my bet. It was my bet. 7 shots, so he's got to make 4 of them, and not even including a 3.
And look at free throws. He's got 3s, free throws, all that you need to factor in. That's
wow,
right?
Yeah. Well, this isn't even the playoffs. This is the season. So let me just make it the playoffs because playoffs different beast as we know. Come on, meow. And this is still away, but even if I take away, like, golly, man. I mean, there's one bad game in there against the Clips in game 3. What a stupid series that was. But yeah, averaging 2.3 on the road. This is all just even better.
So you can lock him in for 2 free throws, mate. So now you only need 3 buckets.
This is insane too. In this series, he's getting 6 boards in the first quarter. Yeah, I'm with it. Thank you so much for pointing me in that direction. And now I have to give you the credit. Yeah. You're right. You're not wrong, Timothy Thomas. I do be liking that shit. All right. Yeah. Good shit, Joe. And Joe brought up the cat assist, which we should look at real quick. But yeah, that's a great look there. Okay. Conley assist. Ant assist was another one brought up. I mean, we could do this all day. This game starts in an hour, right? So we're still good on time.
Well, I got to actually work in 5 minutes. So let's talk about 5 minutes. All right. Let's talk about cat assist because I do have an opinion on cat assist, and it's more of a caution.
Okay,
really.
Go.
So as the local cat whisperer over here,
That's true.
you know,
Kitty cat
I get
whisperer.
cat wet. I get him drippy, zesty and drippy. I do. So he'd be leaking, they say. I looked at the assist because late in that series, he found the lob to Rudy, like so the dump off and the lobs to Rudy all day. But I know that a lot of that happened because the game plan is like, let's get the ball out of Ant's hands. It was a blitz. It was blitz this guy every single time, and it forced Cat to become the creator. In this series against Dallas, I don't know whether that happens. I think we could. Mate, if you watch my streams, there's 55 minutes of that.
I know. Just the best innuendos. Keep it going, though. Keep it going. I'm sorry.
I need to put a warning. So my
he's not going to have the lob to Rudy. That was what I interrupted, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
My concern is if Dallas don't blitz Ant, then Cat doesn't have to be the creator.
And you don't know if they will, though.
I don't know. I didn't take unders for Cat.
Right.
Sure.
So you're just saying that's your word of caution about Cat assists. Is like right. He was the beneficiary of the ball moving out of Ant's hands into a situation where the defense is imbalanced.
That's
and now it's like Mike Conley with the ball 3-on-2 or Cat with the ball 2-on-1 or something like that.
That's right. That's how a lot of those assists happen. It wasn't like Cat ISO on the top of the key, taking his man off the dribble and looking for somebody else. It didn't happen that way. There was a blitz on Ant, Cat rolling to the rim, 2-on-1. It was him and Rudy on Jokic. That's how a lot of these assists happen. And
right.
But the thing is, if we do see that, it could be a good live bet. If you see the scheme, the defensive scheme, then you can look at something like Cat's assist straight away. But before the jump, you're kind of just relying on data.
Yeah.
Because you don't know how the defense is going to play.
Right. So much to watch for. I need to organize my notes more than anything as I'm sitting there watching this game. Like I can't just be rolling up like everybody else is going to be during this game, getting super blazed. And I'm going to run that poll next show, which is what percentage of you are either on the process of getting stoned, currently stoned, or smoked roughly within the last couple hours. All right. So is there anything else that you want to use your time for here? Since I think we're on a 2.5 minute countdown for you.
No, I think that's pretty much everything I ended up playing. I'm just
cool.
Thinking back, there's nothing. Let me
cool
double check because I'm the MLB guy now. Like my bets
right.
So I learned how to spell it.
We always say once you learn how to spell baseball or MLB.
Yeah. I got educated last night on a whiff percentage, so pretty exciting.
Oh hell yeah! I saw that in your comments. I saw that.
Yeah.
Somebody was like, "Here's what whiff percentages."
Yep.
Yeah, we should do a Fangraphs tutorial together. Fangraphs is the best for it if you need that. Even just bringing up smoking, everyone's like, "What are you talking about? I'm smoking right now." Bro, like everybody, I'm telling you, it's an 80% hit rate. I'm taking the over on how many people are smoking every time in this motherfucker.
I think if you spark it up right now, you probably double your subscribers.
That's a really good point, bro. But I can't smoke in the house. Wife will get mad, so I got to go out to the deck.
Yeah, take that setup outside.
Yeah. We're gonna be doing MLB. I'm gonna be looking at MLB. I'm gonna get you on WNBA too, by the way. If I can, if you're good with that, and I'm gonna make.
I'm gonna say some wild things because I'm unfiltered.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And you're nasty. Michael's smoking meth. I mean, whatever floats your boat, brother. But it's gonna be hard.
He should take notes on this game because he's not gonna miss a thing.
Scratching his face and just like seeing through the fucking TV, probably. Anyway, all right. I'm gonna run through a couple things. I'm just gonna run through Lively, Gafford, and Conley assists. I'm gonna look at that real quick.
You just remind me one thing. I do have to bounce, but I think I've got to play on Lively and Gafford to get 1 assist each.
Wow, you crazy bastard! Where the hell are you coming from with that?
Where am I coming from with that? One, because I don't think they're going to attempt many shots on Rudy.
Okay.
And if there is any blitzes on Luka, a lot of the time he's not throwing it across court, especially with the length that Minnesota has. He's not going to throw it to the corner, I don't think. I think he's going to hit the short man, which is going to be Lively or Gafford. And then they have the opportunity to find the shooters in the corner, the wings, Derek Jones cutting baseline. The other opportunities on offensive rebound, they're not going to go up with it. I feel like they get that offensive board, they're kicking it out with that big French fucker in there.
Yeah.
Just to get 1 assist. Like they might average 2 potential assists each, but I fucked around with it. You got to fuck around and find out sometimes.
Yeah. You do want to fuck around and find out. Well,
Yeah.
Good luck at your other job until you finally quit and just do this shit full time with us.
Yep, you know
You
it.
know,
That's what I'm working on. Get me out of the hood. Let's go.
that's right. Are you
Thanks
going
for
to be on
having me on, bro.
playback?
I'll speak to you soon.
No worries. Are you going to be on playback.tv tonight or no?
No, I'm twerking. I can't.
Okay, cool. No worries.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get you.
Yep.
I'll get the link in the Discord later. But good luck today, brother. We'll talk soon.
See you, man.
All right, bro. All right, cool. Let's just look at one more thing, y'all, which is really just going to be the Conley assist. I do want to take a look at that real quick. I do think Conley is good for some dimes. I still like the PRA for Conley. That's kind of what I'm closing out on here. Is like I still like the PRA for the adult in the room on this team, and I still see J Kidd playing defense not straight up on Ant Edwards, which then leaves Mike Conley with the ball in his hands against an imbalanced defense. I've talked about this a number of times, and I'm not going to get off of it yet. So I lean strongly on the over. This number has gotten pretty high. It was 19.5 in game 7 last game. The game ones for Conley, all right, not as good in Phoenix, but pretty good here. And this is just such a high hit rate because of how involved he is in the offense. I understand he's going to be a weak point on defense against Derrick Jones Jr., but if Derrick Jones Jr. is beating you and you have Conley on the floor, I still think you're in a good spot there. So, yeah, no shit. I think this is good. This is a good look here for Conley. If you're interested, I've got a good amount of bets up already, so I think I'm good on that. And the only other thing, real quick, was and what did the assists at alone for him? It's the rebounds and the points that are just going crazy, dude, which is wild. And then he makes up for it because he's got like I said, he's got the ball in his hands, so he can either score or he can get those assists. So I think it's safest to just take all of them for Mike Conley. That's where I'm at with that. I'm gonna put that on the bottom line as well. I'm gonna add everything that we talked about, including Daft's bets, to the pinned comment of the video that'll be up on YouTube here in a minute as well. I didn't do that yesterday because I'm a dipshit, but I will do it today, and because I was running out the door to go play hoop. And I'm going to send you that link on YouTube of me hitting a half-court shot for the haters out there. Conley, if you're taking him, I lean over PRA better than one prop line. All right, so that's going to be on there. All this is going to be in there as well because we'll have about an hour until game. Yeah, bro, that could be fire. Yeah, we took we're talking about Hardaway here, no round Brown. If you're talking about THJ, you might as well go with the over, like over 5.5 points is great because you get plus money for THJ, but also like at least two threes, maybe 3 threes. If you get better money for that, like if he hits one, he's gonna probably keep firing. That's kind of what we were talking about. So keep that in mind. For Lively and Gafford, if you want to parlay the one assist together, I'm put that in here to make sure it's clear that Daft took that as well. Stand by. But if you want to take that, I get it. Did I put that already in here for him? No, I didn't. I'm really glad he helped us with the Luka first quarter bet. Lively / Gafford 1+ assist. That is plus 142 on DK, but shop it around. You might get better number on that somewhere else. I can see that being the case. I don't hate that, honestly, as a look. Conley, I prefer the PRA to one of the individual props. Just keep that in mind. For Nas, it's a stay away from me on Nas until I see what the deal is with the difference between him and NAW in terms of the rotation. So that's one of the key things I'm looking for here. Is Nickeil Alexander-Walker or Nas Reed getting more minutes? And as a result, what's going to happen there, right? And so for NAW, I think I'm going to put together a little same-game parlay a la Daft and what he was saying. But just be careful with Nas Reed. We all love Nas. He's like somehow like a freaking NBA fan favorite. Maybe because his name's Nas and he's like fucking 7'1" and can hit threes and dunk on you all the way from the 3-point line. So there's reason to love Nas Reed. But yeah, and then I had one look for Gafford under points was brought to my attention as well. Careful. I agree that like the Rudy stuff will impact him heavily. But just careful. That's all. So this was him on Washington. This doesn't really help us much, right? Like there's no head-to-head stuff that would really be comparable is where I'm looking for. Comparable to what we're going to see today. But yeah, Metro Kids likes under 1.5 threes for THJ. There's no way that's good juice, right? They're not making that too high, I would imagine, for Timmy Hardaway Jr. And yeah, for Jaden Hardy as well, I just want to just wait and see. Like, is Josh Green going to still get the same amount of minutes? Is Jaden Hardy going to get a few more? I think these rotations trim down a little bit, but fuck out of here. 7'3", you don't know anything. That Miles Turner 7'3", you don't know anything, street cred. He's messing with me because I said Miles Turner was like 7'2", and Miles Turner's like 6'11". But I still contend he might be 7'2". Yeah, it's true that like Jaden Hardy's his minutes might be down, but this is a different series, so we don't know how he might be used by J Kidd when it comes to Jaden Hardy. So keep that in mind. We pretty much looked at everybody here, so I'm good on that at this point. I'm gonna take off and get to work on some other stuff for tomorrow in that Pacers and the Celtics game. For those of you who tailed me on Al Horford under PRA, guess what? We're going right the fuck back to it because I don't give a shit that he went over yesterday. He shouldn't have gone over, and he's just played 40 minutes. So we're taking under on the old man. I can already give that bet out. Under 20.5 PRA for Al Horford on Thursday in that game. Come get some. Come get some. All right. I'll have the YouTube video with me scoring from half court to take it to overtime. Oh, and we got a WNBA look from Free Sauce. He likes Caitlin Clark. I want to make sure I got that in there. Thank you for bringing it back up, homie. And if you don't yet have are not yet, I should say, in the Discord, jump in there. The link is in the description. A couple guys got their channels at this point because we got dudes dropping bets like pretty much every day. If any, and we're gonna including WNBA, which we're gonna be going pretty hard on. So make sure you check that out as well, because I still like this for Caitlin Clark. That's probably a good look. Yeah, and we got the WNBA channel popping now. And all it took was me putting it up finally and doing my fucking job. And then everybody jumped in there and loves it. And so I appreciate that because we're going to be going hard on the W. Burr Oaks is also in the Discord as the MLB Whisperer. My dude is like 13-3 in his last 16 bet of the day. The old man's going to kill me. You might be right, Mr. Cash Out. You might be right. If he does, Mazel Tov to Al Horford, and we'll pour one up for him. But yeah, come through in the Discord because a lot of the stuff that we're talking about here, man, I appreciate everybody jumping in the comments and giving out really, really good stuff because y'all are now like actually conversating with each other, which is wonderful. So that we're all helping each other. But do have that going live. I'm gonna be back tomorrow. As always, we got that live stream rolling. And this should say Thursday. I swear I had it changed to Thursday. And this should say Thursday because we're going to come back at the same time, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you jump in there, bring your bets, jump in the comments, all that. Really good stream today, y'all. Appreciate you guys jumping in here. Really good looks from everybody. We're going to keep it moving. And if you could, like and subscribe to that page. And then it's really helpful for everything to support the channel. So hopefully I'll see you on the Discord here in a minute. Get some live bets popping if we got them. We'll have that video out tonight for tomorrow's looks for the Pacers and the C's. And until I see y'all then, happy betting.